Alright, hello all. This is a video from within Manjaro Linux and the XFCE4 desktop, and it's a 64-bit edition, and how things are going, and just to answer some questions I had about Manjaro, whatever way you want to pronounce it. I'll try to remember most of the questions I've been asked and my thoughts on the system. So XFCE4 is obviously, it's very customizable. I've already started customizing it the way I like it, and you can add a lot of things, and I think it's neat because you can, if you give everything out of the box to everybody, and then there's nothing to do. You know what I mean? If you like to tweak your system, it's a tough balance though, because if you don't give enough, then new users are going to be completely confused. Now, I like this release of Manjaro right now, the way it is. The kernel seems fine. The NVIDIA drivers install without issue. And lots of packages that I've been using have been updated in Arch Linux. Some of them don't work as good. However, since this is some of the packages are kept back, they seem to be working well, so that's a good thing. I did have some issues installing. When I first booted from the USB, I just hit enter. I wasn't even paying attention. I just had a blank screen. And then after trying some different command line options, I noticed that there was a second option to boot non-free. So when I did that, it launched the desktop interface so I could install the system. And when I did that, when I installed the system, I used gparted to customize the way I like to have it set up on a solid state drive. After installation, the NVIDIA proprietary drivers, including the 32-bit libraries and Steam compatibility, were all set for me. I thought that was great. So I had some questions such as, how do you get sudo not to ask you for a password, and a few other things. So I made some notes in File Manager Sunar, just call it Manjaro. So as I mentioned, the install option, if you want to try out NVIDIA proprietary, boot, I don't know if it says boot non-free, but the second option is non-free. And another issue I came up with is when I tried to update, I think the second time, it said something about missing keys, and I found all I had to do is run this command, sudo pacman-s manjaro-keyring, and it worked. And a suggestion, since this has mugshot, which is basically having your, let me zoom in and then try to, this here right where my username is, and it has like a fish, it brings up this dialog, mugshot, which is fine, but out of the box there wasn't a select from stock. It said browse. So suggestion would be to add some faces. So what I did is I made a directory, USR share pixmaps, and then made a directory called faces. And then I have I think on Google Drive, a Chrome avatars, and I just extracted them as root into the faces directory, and sure enough, this dialog, select from stock, comes up, and there you go. I think most distributions look for that directory, so I don't know if it's intentional or oversight or whatever. It doesn't matter. Just a suggestion. So for sudo, well, you have to add yourself to the wheel group from what I gather. So in your terminal you type su, and in your root password, gpassword-a to add your username, to the wheel group, and then editor equals nano vi sudo, uncomment this line here. So it would look like this by default in the terminal in nano. So you just take that out with a backspace, and then go down to the bottom and just copy and paste if I upload these notes, or just type it in, it's not hard. Defaults, colon, note space after your username, and then this right here, exclamation, authenticate. So that tells it not to ask, basically. And then exit SU, and you can run Pac-Man and operations and stuff like that, most without being asked for a password in sudo, basically. As far as the NVIDIA drivers, choosing the non-free option at boot seemed to work for me, but it might not for you, depending on what it is. If it's a PCI, USB. I found this command very helpful though. Manjaro hardware daemon. I'm not sure what it is. Sorry, but if you copy that and open a terminal, just paste that in. It takes a second, and I'm going to go full screen and do that again. Okay, so there we go. PCI device, and it gives the information: display controller, NVIDIA Corporation, GTX 970 installed, and that's the way it came after rebooting and running this command. So basically, to do it the manual way is sudo and then the Manjaro hardware daemon -i PCI and the name of the driver, which was I should have left that open. I'm sorry. NVIDIA, video/-NVIDIA. Okay, and it says closed source, so it's proprietary. Free driver false, and then conflicts with these. Okay, and that worked great for me. Oops. And where was the other one I was looking at? NVIDIA's libgl has already been installed, I believe. So I'm just going to do a quick check. glx info32 grep opengl. Yep, looks good to me. And va info, I'm not sure. Yep. Nope. Okay, so probably have to install the libav driver. I'm not sure. Take a look. So again, you can set your aliases up, and I just set it the way I use Arch Linux, basically. Yeah, it's not installed. Okay, no problem. And then I don't think the NVIDIA persistence service is enabled. It's there, but it's not enabled. So I'm just going to do that as well. And I've been through this before with my NVIDIA proprietary drivers. So now it's going to start. I've already installed GPU test NVDoc, which is down here. You double click and so on. So I'm going to add this cool bits so I can control temperature. There we go. And I'm pretty sure you have to reboot. Let me open that again. Yeah, it's not there. So you have to restart, and this that option to change the fan speed will be there for you. Some other neat tweaks they threw in, and that I like to use myself, are things like if you go to a non-user directory, like well, let's go to that map directory. USR share, I'll zoom in here, or can I? There we go. Pics, maps, and there's the faces directory I created, and there's the PNG files, as you saw for the avatar for your mugshot. Now, if I had to do an operation in here as root, they have Thunar root here, so you just supply your root password, and there you go. Okay, and open terminal here, and you can also enable it so you can have a keyboard shortcut F4 to open terminal, so F4 and so on. And they also added a nice little search function on the Thunar. It's a little weird. I replaced Catfish with Tracker, which is from GNOME. I find this works the best because it'll search everything for me, but it does act a little weird. So if I look for GVFS permissions, and that was brings me to another question. Was a while back when you log out, I don't have suspend or hibernate. That has to do with the 10 disable suspend rules. You can call anything you want. However, you got to be careful because NVIDIA, Manjaro always has its own. It does have the 10 drive rule, so it won't ask you for a password to mount an extra volume like mirror, so you didn't ask me for a password on mount. However, you go into super user and look at the, where is it here? Etsy polkit rules.d. Oh, I'm so sorry. So I'm just going to try to drag this and copy it to here. Control C, LS. I'll paste that in. It has, they have their own rules. So now let's copy, and I'll put leaf pad. I replaced mouse pad with leaf pad because it's such a simple editor. And you see it has already basically this the disable the 10 drive rules, but it's not named that. It's all in one document. But if you look closely between the two, this part here, polkit add rule down to here, is to disable the suspend and hibernate is different. They have two separate options. So I imagine with, what you could do if you wanted to is just take this, copy this part, and this whole part, all of these, and overwrite it. Save, and let's see what happens with logout. There we go. And the hibernate and suspend is gone. Okay? So I hope that solves that question for you. And for the Infinality font bundle, it works just fine. You just open your Pacman config file just like you would in Arch Linux, and if you're using 64, you'll need to include the both of the multi-lib and the bundle itself. And I already have a video on that and notes on YouTube, on GitHub, about going on how to go about this. And you can add little things like take out color and I love candy for Pac-Man. So quit and pack you. You'll see the little. Oh, okay. Let's do a sync. There you go. There you go. The Pac-Man there running, and so on. So pretty much very similar to Arch, of course. One notable thing that was missing is reflector. I don't know. I don't know what repository. If I do a Pacman dash capital S small s reflector, it's not there. And same thing if I look in the user repository, there's reflector references, but the actual program's not there, which is fine. I think it's Pacman dash mirror, and it tells you, gives you commands and what you can do, like to generate a new mirror list. Method is to rank or random, branch stable. So, like for example, you have to run this as sudo Pacman mirrors dash G dash M for rank dash B would be stable, I guess, dash country. It's different. It's united. Instead of quotes, it's underscore. So countries with more than one word, it's underscore states. And mirror pass and interactive, I guess. So let me put this in the beginning -I believe, and we'll see what happens. Yep. Okay. So I would suggest put that into a batch file. That command I just ran, wherever it went to. There it is. And open a text editor, paste that in, and then save it as something. Say bin bash, and then save as, if you want, in your home folder, or something, mirrors, as I usually call it. Enter, close your home folder, and just right click permissions, allow executing. So all you would have to do is open your home folder and type a ./mirrors. And there we go, done. So I think that wraps it up for this video. I've been rambling on too long. Probably you guys either you're asleep or have already turned off the video. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. And bye for now.